Recorders ready.
Yep.
Stand by.
Very fast.
Very
good.
Are we clear? That's the question. Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. If this is your first time with the channel, my name is Mark.
Oh, hi Mark.
Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. Admittedly, the thumbnail and title of this is going to be a little clickbaity. I do apologize for that. But at the end of the day, this is a question that I have gotten over the last 5 to 6 years as to why I have gotten into the AK game so deeply instead of trying to better understand or become better with the AR. And ultimately, I'm going to discuss a lot of those reasonings in this video. My question to you guys is, what's your favorite rifle? I mean, for me, my favorite rifle is the AK. I'll get into reasons why that is in this video. I don't want to spoil it. But ever since I was a kid, seeing the action movies from the 80s with Arnold Schwarzenegger and you know, Predator and Commando and all that type of stuff, and saw the AK, I'm just like, that is such a cool rifle, you know? And then when I was young, my father ended up getting his first AK, and it's still in the box. I got a video coming. But it's still in the box, and I think it's going to be really cool to talk about. But that's where it all started for me when I was a kid. But then, you know, life changed for me. I got into the Army and got used to shooting the M16 and then the M4, and I started building my first ARs in, I would say, 2010. And yeah, so I just kind of put it on the shelf for a while. I wanted to learn how to build an AK way back like in 2012. I was trying to figure out how to go about building one. And you know, my dad's like, well, it's not the same as an AR. It's going to be a lot more difficult, and you have to press rivets, and it's going to be pretty hard. But the challenge was there, and that's kind of where this is first going to start with this video. And the number one reason why I turned to the AK was about 2018. I started to see, especially after being you know, a new YouTuber for about a year or so at that point. Even then, I started to see how the AR was boring. Everything that you want to do with an AR, you can do that. This BCM right here is a prime example of it. I've got it all tricked out with IR illuminator and lasers. I've got a white light on it, and I've got a really nice red dot on it that has a magnifier, and it's a sub MOA rifle with the right optic combination and bullet weight. I mean, everything about this rifle is exactly what I need it to do. And I figured that out way back in 2018. There was really nowhere else to go for the AR. Now, there have been some really cool things that have come out since that time, but realistically, it's not going to improve that platform any more than it already has. And that's where I started to get into the AK, because I was like, I'd always heard that AKs are more challenging. They're harder. And so I wanted to challenge myself. That's something I'm always about, is pushing myself into some place that I'm not comfortable to better understand how to do things and become better at the thing that I want to do. So for me, number one is ARs are boring, and the AK provided a new avenue to challenge myself. Another great example is I'm getting into some new styles of competition, and it is with a completely foreign rifle that I've never really messed with. And to be frankly honest with you, I've kind of scoffed at it because, oh, that's We'll talk about that in a future video, but it's putting me into a very uncomfortable situation and showing some of the gaps in my abilities. So that's why I continue to do that. That's why I chose the AK so many years ago. Number two kind of leads into what I just said about this BCM. It's a sub-MOA rifle. Inherently, AKs are not going to be sub-MOA rifles. They're going to be minute of man. That's the best way to say it. Now, some AKs are more accurate than others. Some shooters are more accurate than others. Robski is a great example to that. I mean, he's able to take pretty much any AK and shoot out to 600 yards like it's nothing, you know. So there is a Indian, not the arrow element into this, but I will also say that that's also the challenge as well, is understanding how to become more accurate. A great example is at Kalashnikon in 2023. One of the stages is a 600-yard shot. But to get to that 600-yard target, you have to clear a 200-yard target. You had to clear 5 300-yard targets with one of them moving, which I've never really shot a moving target with a rifle before. I have with the tank. That's a different story for a different time. But doing it with a rifle, yeah, that was pretty challenging. Then you move on to 400 yards, and then 500 yards, and then 550 yards, and then finally 600 yards. And I can tell you that I was nervous as all get out. I've never done anything like that, and I didn't think I was going to clear the stage, but I did. And in addition to that, I was able to get a first round impact at 600 yards running a 3X micro prism from Primary Arms on a Arsenal SAM 5. I can tell you that that rifle is not a MOA rifle. That is, no matter what setup I put on, no matter what type of ammunition I run or magnified optic that I put on there, it's not going to be an MOA rifle. At best, I might be able to squeeze out 2.5 inches at 100 yards. So, yeah, it's more challenging for sure. Fast forward to this year, again at Kalashnikon, we went to a different range, and I had to shoot out to 575 yards. I was running the Zastava M90 with a Siley Bull X Pro red dot, no magnification whatsoever, and the targets were, I believe, 70 yards to 575 yards, and I cleared that entire freaking stage within, I think it was about 44 seconds or something like that. I only had one target where I had to shoot multiple times at. I think it was 3 rounds on the 300-yard target, but once I hit the 450-yard target, that was first round impact, and then 500-yard target was 575-yard target was also a first round impact as well. So you have the ability to be accurate, but you're going to have to work harder to understand that accuracy. So that leads me into the third point, and the challenge portion of it was I knew that the AK was going to further challenge me because the manual of arms is far more difficult than the AR. With an AR, you push a button to drop a magazine while you're grabbing a new one, you stuff it into the mag well, you press another button, and you're back in the game. Whereas with an AK, you've got to push a lever while pushing on a magazine to get it ejected out of there. You got to grab a new one and rock and lock, and then you got to run the charging handle to actuate that bolt to load the next round. It's a very cumbersome process, but there are people out there that can do an AK reload in like 1.5 seconds. There are some really, really fast AK competitors, if I can say that word, out there. People like Playco 47, like AK Mario, and there's a few other guys that are on the IWI team that run Galils, which is a kind of variant of the AK. So you have the ability to be fast, but I also know that it's not going to be as fast as an AR. So that was the other portion of the challenge for me, is to understand how to be as efficient in my movements to reload and do remedial action on an AK, which then hopefully will translate into using an AR. And I think it has. I ran the SAM 5 last year at Kalash Bash and Kalashnikon. This year I've ran the Zastava M90 at Kalash Bash and Kalashnikon. Both are great rifles, both did very well. And since then I have ran the AR at a 2-gun competition earlier this year, and should not have placed as well as I did, because inherently this AR right here should not be a competition AR for 2-gun. We're talking an MPVO, right? We're talking 18-inch barrel, you know, non-collapsible buttstock here. This should not be a competitive rifle, yet I placed 5th in my local 2-gun match when I shouldn't have, in what everybody thinks about competition. Yet the AK prepared me to make sure I understood how to efficiently run that rifle in such a way that was going to make me the most competitive. So that kind of is the thesis of why I have chosen the AK, is because I recognize the fact that the AR is superior to the AK, but I also believe that the AK will make me a better shooter because I have to work so much harder. Now, if you don't like the AK, you don't have the money to buy an AK or whatever the case may be, that's fine. You're just going to have to work harder with an AR to get your reloads faster, to manipulate it faster. You know, you got to do your dry fire on a regular basis, especially if you're going to get into the competition game. So with the AK, it's going to make you do that. If you want to be good with an AK, you're going to have to put the time in to be good with an AK. So that's kind of the reasons why. And I just thought I'd talk about that. Again, I've got several ARs, but at the end of the day, I have more AKs than any other firearm. You know, and I've just absolutely loved them. I think that they are making me a better shooter in the long run. Now, that doesn't mean that I can just run AKs and then just jump into an AR, I'm good. No, I still have to put in the time with an AR. But realistically, it makes it easier, if that makes any sense. So, but at the end of the day, let me know, sound off in the comment section down below as to what you guys think. Am I completely off base here, or am I making kind of sense? I would love to hear what you have to say. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I absolutely love the AKs. I'm going to continue to run them. I've got some more content coming with the PSA Crink. I've got an SLR 106 that we're going to be talking about. There's some new products coming out from JMac Customs that we're going to be looking at and doing a review. So a lot of great content coming up, and I can't wait to get those videos out for you guys. With that being said, thanks a lot for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. Swing on by and check out the podcast, the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast. It's been a lot of fun. Had some great guests, and I encourage you guys to check that out. We'll have links to that in the pinned comment and in the description below. But with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Here comes a high five. As always, freedom through strength. Take it easy, guys. Bye.